I was so inspired by young people that were saying, oh, they did this, they have done that. I'm like, who am I? What am I? Come on. And the moment I left that event, the next day, I gathered all the money that I had and I went straight to the market arena.
She know I get that moolah, man. Trap on you, have it. We ballin' every night, baby. What game? I'm a fiend, I'm an addict. Whoever knocking at the door, I told.
Hi there. My name is Ogenetega. I am the founder of 20’s Agency, a global communication marketing agency that I am building in Abuja, Nigeria. I have always wanted to document my journey as a young entrepreneur building a business in Nigeria. And I think one of the reasons why I've always wanted to do it is that I see a lot of success stories, and that is very amazing. But we are different points and journeys of our lives. And sometimes there are experiences that these successful stories cannot tell us anymore, or we cannot learn from, just because they have actually passed that phase of their life. And personally, I want to document both the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's exactly why I am doing this. What I'm going to be talking about in this video is the pursuit of greatness as a young person, the reality of pursuing greatness, the my personal lessons, the lessons that experience has taught me. Like, I know that I don't have 10 years experience or I don't have 15 years experience, but they are still valid.
So what I'll just do now to tell Igwe, say me they organize an award for you. Because you need the award.
And you who is about to actually embark on this journey, you will definitely experience these things, right? These are the things that I wish these success stories are telling me right now, but they can't tell me these things right now because they have actually passed this phase. And I want to document it so that when you get to this phase, you can learn from my journey, you can learn from my experience. And hopefully, I'm also going to be interviewing other people that are also within this phase of their journey, or maybe a little bit ahead of us, right? So that we can learn from them. So now I want to share my experiences and my tips in the pursuit of greatness. This is the lesson that I have learned while doing this grind and this hustle as a business owner. I started my first business at the age of 17, 16, 17. I think I was in 200 or 300 level. In fact, I had just gone to for an event, a conference with my friend Uche in Lagos. I think the conference is called Free. And during the event, I was so inspired by young people that were saying, oh, they did this, they have done that. I'm like, who am I? What am I? Come on. And the moment I left that event, the next day, I gathered all the money that I had because I was good at saving when I was in school. And I went straight to the market arena, Lagos. I think I even went by myself and I bought the first things. Like, I already understood the basics of business, even though I had never been in business. That first of all, I knew where I was or the people I wanted to sell to, which are students. So I made sure that I focused on things that I knew that students were going to buy a lot. And honestly, when I did that first, like, I didn't do any other thing. I didn't create a logo. I didn't even create, in fact, I created my name when I came back from the market, right? And I posted it on my WhatsApp status and I started selling. In fact, school had not resumed, but people were already buying the things that I bought because, yeah, I have a good eyes, if I do say so myself. So I mean, thinking about it now, it just made me realize the kind of person that I was when I was younger. Right now, when I want to start a business, I start doing all this analysis and all this strategy and all this, plenty things. I'm not saying that those are not good, but one of the key things that actually make us successful as entrepreneurs is that ability to take risk and not being afraid to fail. And I think I had that when I was much younger. Heard it before, but nobody cares. See that thing that you want to do that you have stopped yourself from doing it because you think somebody cares about it, just go and do it. I want you to think about this. When you even think about celebrities, I'm not someone that like follows a lot of celebrity talks and all, but I can remember I know situations where I'm like laughing with my friends and we're laughing about an issue or a celebrity gist and all of that. And at the end of it, we're like, I beg, it's not even our business because they're in their house, and it just ends like that. A lot of times we put a burden on ourselves and we are helping other people analyze what is going to go on in their mind. Why? See this thing I'm saying, even me, I'm not even gone past it, right? but I'm still learning and I'm still trying. In fact, one of the many reasons why I have not even had a YouTube channel, I've not even said documenting my processes a long time ago, is because of this two sentence: nobody cares. Because I care that some people care, but nobody cares, really. Especially in social media, being in social media, working with influencers, I learned this a lot, right? I remember when one of the
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
you have to go through a lot to really understand these two words, that nobody cares. A lot of times we limit ourselves, we stop ourselves from doing a lot of things because we're like, what? But really, what if what happens? Nobody cares. I don't know how else I'm going to explain this to you. And at the end of 2022, that job ended, and I had to face the reality that it is time for me to get my clients. I had to start hustling. And at 2022, I was more of a content marketing agency. And by 2023, when I knew that, it's become a serious something, that was when I pivoted into social media marketing. And I was always online. I consume a lot of content, and I was seeing different kind of prices, different kind of rates, people charging, 15K, 20K for social media management, 50K. And I'm like, where am I going to come in all of these, that I'll be able to still pay salary, do all the things that I want to do? And so for the first 6 months, in fact, for the first 7 months, I was lost. I was not doing enough, right? Let me just put it out there. I was just winging it. We're having customers here and there. And so, of course, I was able to keep on surviving. I have never owed salary. So I could always pay my salary. And we're just pushing right there. But by the time it was the seventh month, I'm like, oh my God, it's time to pay rent. We got no money.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
And I'm like, okay, game over. It's time to actually get into business. And I remember feeling so, I'm like, how can I go back from earning? Because at least my first client was paying me well enough. Like, how can I go back from earning that to like charging 30K for social media management? Like, I felt like that was so small, like the value, like it was not giving. But I'm like, if we don't start somewhere, we won't go anywhere. So I did that. I started my service in 2022, August. I ran my ads for 30K. But I got a lot of clients. Let me not use a lot, but I got good number of clients from that ads. And no clients paid me 30K. I upselled every single client that jumped on a call with me to 50K. So I've always known how the business, I've always known what to do. But I just want to tell you that I tried to cut corners. It was not an intentional thing, because I've always known that cutting corners is not the way. I knew that by the books I had read, the podcasts I've listened to, the YouTube channel, but you can't cut corners. You see that saying of work smarter, not harder. That is for professionals. That is for people who have been in the game long enough to be able to do that. It's not for you who is starting. The game right now for you that is just starting is to work hard. Your game is to work harder than the next person, because the more you work harder, the more you find ways, the more you learn, and the more you find ways to make your work easier. So I'm not telling you to not be efficient. I'm not telling you to not find tools, but I'm telling you that this is the time to put in the hustle, to put in the grind. The more you stay in the game, the more you grow. It's as simple as it is. And that's why when we hear data like most businesses shut down after 3 years, it's just because most of them did not have the patience to stay and be in the process after the grind. I am coming out from that grind. Growth is happening in my agency, in my business. I know that there has been a shift from that, hustle and grind to a much more painful point, right? Where I am growing. Let me just tell you, growth is painful, but we are going to come to that point later. So my point is that there is no shortcut. Just be ready to put in the work, and this is a time for you to put in the hard work. Now, lesson number 2. Growth is painful, and you have to become intentional. In fact, permit me to use the word obsessed with growth and the goal that you want to achieve. Think about it. If you go to the gym, right, you don't build muscles, or you don't, gain whatever it is that you want to gain in a comfortable state. You have to endure pain for you to be able to grow new things, right? Or for you to be able to grow new muscles. No matter how you think about it, no matter the kind of analogy you want to think or bring up, growth is painful. You have to cut, you have to lose, you have to stretch, you have to give up, you have to do all the things that you wish you didn't have to do as a human being. You have to do all of those things during the phase of growth. So if you know, and a lot of businesses crumble or fold up when they are in their place of growth because they don't identify that they are at the point where they are growing. Look, growth does not always mean that you have a lot of money in your accounts, right? It can mean that you are beginning to have access to networks that in the nearest future they would be able to give you what can take you to the point of what you need. It can mean that you are at a point where you have gathered enough knowledge and you just need like key things here and there for you to be able to piece everything together and do what you need to do. Growth can look like different things to different people. And you need to be able to identify that and know that you are actually in your growth phase, and don't lose it because it's just like this and you are where you actually wish you want to be. But the point is that growth is painful. And for you to enjoy growth, right, you have to stay unsatiable. Like, they'll say if man is unsatiable, the needs of man is unsatiable. You have to keep the hunger for growth there and continuous for you to be able to keep tapping into the things that you need to be able to grow continuously. Lesson number 3: if you're misaligned between your goal and what you're currently doing, it's going to be a hard one for you. You cannot set a goal. I can remember that when I first started, I would set goals like, oh my God, I want to make 100 million. Okay, I'm not saying that those goals are not achievable, but the point is that I was not doing the things that I could do to get me to that point. You have to sit down and ask yourself realistically if what you are doing aligns with your goal. And I'm not saying aligns with your goal in terms of just, my goal is that I want to make 100 million, so I've started a business. It means that the daily activities, your daily to do, right? Do they align with the realities of you being able to achieve those goals? So that's why you hear a lot of persons talk about creating SMART goals. That's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound goals. But my point is that your daily to do, your task every day, do they have a chance of pushing you to the goal that you have set for yourself? If your goals do not align with your to do list every day, then you are far from it, right? Some of us are very busy, but we are not productive in any way. And I mean, that's why a lot of us are frustrated in the things that we are doing. You have to be able to know the key things, the top 20% of things that you do that brings the results to you, and focus. Figure out to pick few things that bring you closer to your goals and go. Let go of every kind of distraction, right? Distraction can look like anything and everything, right? Distraction can be your 9 to 5, right? Distraction can be your hobby because, like I said, you have to become obsessive about growth, about the goals that you have set for yourself. That is the way we actually achieve it because this is the pursuit of greatness and you mean business. Now, my next lesson is you get what you negotiate for, not what you deserve, right? The world is unfair, but I mean, there is nothing you can do about it. Look, know how to negotiate your worth. I can remember, I think I've already shared my story about how I started with 30K for my services. Now, within 2 years, I charge as much as 1.5 million for literally the same kind of service, right? And it's not as if I am so different from where I am. Yes, I am in terms of experience, in terms of the things that I've done, but the same things that I knew then, it's literally still the same thing right now. Like I said, I know that I have grown so much, I've learned so much more, but I know that even at that point, I could have charged way more than that. But I did not have, the advantage of my negotiating power because it's as if I was not even aware that, you know, people are also aware of the value that I could give to them. They could tell that I knew what I was doing, but it's as if me myself at that point, I was not sure enough that people would see the value that I have and be willing to pay for it, right? So know your worth and be aware about it so that you'll be able to negotiate the value that you deserve. You have to be aware of it. And this brings me to my next point. Information is the greatest currency that you could ever have for yourself. I'm not just talking about information about your business, but I'm saying information about even how to run a business, how to be a leader, how to find information too. There is something that knowing things does to you. And then you're like, this moment, you're like, oh my God, I wish I knew this earlier. Invest so much energy and time into knowledge and information. And I'm not just saying consuming information without doing anything about it, but actually getting information and making use of it. The power, the strength, the value, like the way information can set you apart, which takes me to my next point, which is learning how to stay self motivated. One of the things that keeps me self motivated is actually listening to, successful business owners. I mean, that's one of the things that keeps me self motivated. Because when I'm feeling down, I'm like, oh my God, how do I do this? I just go on YouTube, find somebody who has gone ahead of me. I listen to them, and so most of the time, in fact, every time I just get it, oh, there's something I can do here. And I like it just gingers me up again, and I am trying to implement something new in my business, right? You need to find something that motivates you. But this is my point. For me, a lot of the times, it is this information that I've learned and gathered over the years that keeps me going, because I never get stuck. The moment I'm stuck, I find information. I usually tell my people, like my team, that there is no information that you're looking for here on earth that you would not even find on YouTube before you even start going into paying, coaches or mentors or stuff like that. That information, it's already there and it's already available to you. You just need to know how to find the information. And sometimes it's just one little thing that can tweak and just change your business from this to this in a second. And you have to be aware of that and you have to know it. So invest a lot of time, invest energy into getting information. Don't get stuck in just what you know. My next lesson, even though I've lost count, it's okay for you to change the goal. Look, we are young. We are trying to figure it out. We don't have it figured out. Leave it for those who have it figured out. Leave it for the gurus who who make 100K in 30 days. I'm not saying it's not possible, but leave that figured out thing for them. It is okay for your goals to change, right? It is okay for you to navigate and to change and to swing and to have the highs and to have the lows. But learn to be patient, learn to give it time, find what keeps you disciplined. Find your discipline should be your self motivation. Look, I'm not those people that does wake up 5 a.m. in the morning, then you go to gym, then you do. I've tried it, it didn't work. So, excuse me, sir. But you have to figure out how to keep yourself self inspired, self motivated. That should be the most important discipline and habit you want to create for yourself, because that's what's going to keep you going. You don't have to wait for anything external to validate the things that you want to do. And that is the only way you'll be able to take risk and to bet on yourself when you need to at any time. And lastly, nobody cares. You have to go through a lot to really understand these two words, that nobody cares. A lot of times we limit ourselves, we stop ourselves from doing a lot of things because we're like, what? But really, what if what happens? Nobody cares. I don't know how else I'm going to explain this to you, but experience teaches you that nobody cares. A lot of times we put a burden on ourselves and we are helping other people analyze what is going to go on in their mind. Why? Nobody cares. really. Especially in social media, being in social media, working with influencers, I learned this a lot, right? Go out there, go and do you. See, everybody is fighting their own race right now. Even if it's cringy, they will still be the ones to love it. That's just how it is. There are people who will love your cringy, but most importantly, I want to tell you that you're doing well. And this is not just a message to you, this is also a message to myself, and this is a message to every entrepreneur out there that is doing their best. You are doing well. Even if you pressure yourself that you still have so much more to do, sometimes there are things that are beyond our control, and you're doing well. Give yourself time, give yourself room to breathe, enjoy life. Have time when you rest, have time when you live life, when you enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Even this one, I'm saying it to myself because for a long time in my business, I was working to just pay salary. Like I was not paying my, nothing much has changed now, but I mean, there's a little bit of difference, right? So, but take it easy, give yourself time, keep growing. Just no shortcuts, right? Keep working hard. This is the time for you to work hard. Don't get deceived, right? But your time will come. If you stay long enough, your time will come and you will figure it out. And I hope you have learned a thing or two from this. Um, I can't wait to see what this channel is definitely is going to turn into. I actually enjoyed this. Please like, share, and subscribe. I really I'm really anticipating with you what this channel is going to be and what is going to turn into. But I believe that it is something that we all are going to learn from and we are going to grow with. And I can't wait to see the amazing community that we are going to build from here. Thank you so much again. My name is Tega. And I think for now, I'm going to be calling this channel Achieving Tega. That's my Instagram handle. And, that was a very intentional name because at this point, I'm achieving the dream Tega that I have always had in my mind, in my head, in my dreams since I was very little. And it has not changed. The vision has not changed. The goals have changed sometimes, some days, but that vision, that core vision of the life that I want has not changed. And God knows that I'm working towards it. So thank you again for listening, and I'll see you in my next video, which I hope, I really, really hope that it's going to be very, very soon. So thank you so much again. And don't forget to drop your comments. You have lessons that you have learned over the years too. As a growing entrepreneur, we want to learn it. And if you know that you're interested in being on this channel, so also you have also had the dream to actually share your story as a founder, as a business owner. I would love to interview you, and please just send me a DM or just send me a DM at Achieving Tega on Instagram and I will respond ASAP, right? Or you can also send me a message on my agency, blueses.co on Instagram, and I will definitely respond to that. So thank you once again and see you in my next video. Bye bye.
She know I get that moolah, man. Trap on you, heavy.